They said her food was sweet, and people kept eating in her shop, but they didn't know the food was cooked with a secret no man should ever use. In a busy Lagos market where food sellers shouted from morning till night, there was one woman whose food nobody touched. Her name was Madam Ella. Every morning before 6 a.m., she arrived at the roadside with her food stand, hot rice and stew bubbling and fried meat smelling good, yet people passed her like she was invisible. "Good morning. Come and buy food," she would beg. People shook their heads. Some said her food felt heavy, some said they lost appetite just by smelling it, while others said nothing yet they never returned. By evening, flies gathered because her food remained untouched. At night, Madam Ella cried. She had child at home, rent to pay, and debts everywhere. Other food sellers mocked her. "Maybe cooking is not your calling," they laughed. One day, while going back home with her untouched food, she noticed something strange. Across the road, another woman's food stand was crowded like a concert. Men and women, even people who had already eaten, were coming back for more. Her name was Auntie Rose. Madam Ella watched closely. People ate and smiled. Some licked their fingers and some said, "I don't know why, but I must come back tomorrow." That night, Madam Ella couldn't sleep. The next morning, she walked to Auntie Rose. "Please," she said with tears in her eyes, "what is your recipes?" Auntie Rose looked around, then laughed softly. "Are you sure you want to know?" she asked. Madam Ella swallowed hard. "I am tired of suffering." Auntie Rose leaned closer and whispered, "There is a doctor in Bedigri. He doesn't give charms, just rules, but he doesn't joke with rules." Madam Ella hesitated, but hunger is louder than fear. 2 days later, she boarded a bus and was going to meet the man who would change her life forever. Auntie Rose took her to the shrine that was deep inside the bush, red cloths, burning incense, and bones hanging like decorations. The native doctor did not smile. "You want people to eat your food," he said calmly, "not because they like it, but because they cannot stop." Madam Ella nodded. He gave her a dark native drink. "Drink this once in a month. Immediately your monthly flow starts," he said. "It will open the door." Then he gave her rules that made her body shake. "You must never miss your monthly flow," he said. "When it comes, you must preserve it in the freezer, and you must use it only for your cooking." Madam Ella froze. "But won't it make my food smell?" she whispered. The native doctor looked at her. "It will bring customers, and it will also bind their spirit to your pot," she agreed. From that month, everything changed. The first day she used the instruction, something strange happened. Before 9 a.m., people gathered. By 10 a.m., her food was finished. People complained when it finished. "Why didn't you cook more? I don't feel satisfied, so I need to come back later." Money filled her nylon bag. Days turned into weeks. Madam Ella became popular. Her child ate well. She dressed better and laughed again, after suffering with her child for years as a single mother. But strange things started happening. Customers started dreaming about her food. Some felt weak if they didn't eat from her. One man said to Madam Ella, "I nearly collapsed yesterday that you didn't come to shop." At night, Madam Ella heard whispers from her pot, "Feed us, don't stop." She wanted to stop, but the money was too sweet, and the rule was clear: once you start, you must never stop. One morning, Madam Ella cooked her food without her monthly flow, because it delayed for 2 days. That day, something went wrong. People ate, then started vomiting. One woman fainted. The market scattered. By night, Madam Ella's child fell sick. She began vomiting blood. Madam Ella ran back to the shrine. The native doctor shook his head. "You broke the rule," he said. "What you fed others has returned to you, and if you don't act fast, she will turn into a shadow and walk to the land of no return." Madam Ella begged the native doctor, "Please help me. What can I do to heal my daughter and boost my business again?" He told her to bring a big goat to do a sacrifice. She did, and everything went back to normal. Her daughter healed and her business started booming again. She then decided to be more serious in keeping the rules, because she doesn't want what happened to repeat itself. So she cooked more than she used to cook to be able to serve all her customers the quantity they want. This one he asked for a goat, hope he won't ask for a human head, because they said any ritual that requires an animal will later request for a human. I hope mine is different, she asked herself, and she continues her business. As Madame Ella's food business grew, one man became different from the rest. His name was Zach. He was a regular customer, tall, quiet, and always smiling. Whenever the market became too crowded, he stayed back to help her. He served food, collected money, and chased flies away. Thank you, Madame Ella would say. No problem, Zach replied. Your food is special. Slowly, they became close. Zach started coming early and leaving late. Sometimes he followed her home. For the first time in many years, Madame Ella felt loved. She forgot the whispers from the pot, the rules, and the fear. Love made her careless. They started dating. Zach promised her marriage, and he promised to stay. Months passed. Then one morning, Madame Ella noticed something strange. Her body felt different, weak and heavy, and then realized, she is pregnant. That is why her monthly flow did not come. Fear entered her heart like cold water. She rushed to the native doctor. His face changed the moment he saw her. You broke the rule, he said. I didn't know, she cried. I am pregnant. The native doctor was silent for a long time. Then he said something that froze her blood. You must wait until you give birth, he said. The child will replace what you missed. Madame Ella shook. You mean, my baby? He nodded. If you want your customers back, the child must be used. Madame Ella ran back home. From that day, everything collapsed. Customers stopped coming. Her food tasted normal again. People complained. Something has changed. I don't feel your food anymore. Money stopped coming. Rent was due and debts returned. She told Zach everything. At first, he promised to stay, but when her stomach grew bigger and poverty returned, Zach disappeared. His phone stopped ringing, and his room was empty. Madame Ella cried until her eyes burned. She carried the pregnancy alone and gave birth to a baby girl. The child cried every night, and every night, Madame Ella heard whispers again. Bring her and finish what you started, but she refused. Even Auntie Rose told her to do what the native doctor told her to do, but she refused. Hunger and sickness entered the house. Madame Ella told her first child everything that happened between her and her native doctor. She also warned her daughter never to go and eat where a food seller's shop is always full and where customers cannot stop eating. One night, Madame Ella slept, and by morning, she was dead. Just like that, no loud sickness or long warning. After her burial, relatives came and shared her children. One child went to one family, another child went elsewhere. Life moved on, but people in that market still talk. They say if you pass Madame Ella's old spot very early in the morning, you will smell food cooking, but no one is there. And sometimes, people hear a woman whisper, "Greed fed me, but it also finished me." On the other hand, her children was living with their aunties in different houses, but the same suffering. In the first auntie's house, the eldest child, Blessing, became a servant overnight. Every morning before the sun rose, she swept the compound, washed plates, and cooked food. A child that comes with bad luck must walk, the auntie would say. When food was ready, she stood by the door watching others eat. If she asked for food or cry, she was reminded, "Your mother destroyed herself." In the second auntie's house, other children went to school, but she stayed home to wash clothes and fetch water. When neighbors asked why he wasn't in school, the auntie smiled and said, "She is stubborn. She doesn't like going to school." At night, the children cried quietly, because they are afraid their tears would bring more punishment. They missed their mother, who used to hug them when the world was cruel. Sometimes Blessing whispered, if Mama was alive, this wouldn't happen, but their mother was gone, and her sins had become their punishment. Moral lesson: evil shortcuts bring temporal success and permanent destruction, because it will destroy your life and your family in the end. Lastly, be very careful where you buy your food and where you eat out.